Super League.
2019 Betfred Women's Super League champions, the Leeds Rhinos. Absolutely fabulous.
Saints are champions of Super League again.
Hello and welcome to the Last Tackle, Betfred's Rugby League show. This is what we've got for you this week. We look back at round 5 in the Betfred Super League and we have the best of the action from the Championship and League One. We take a look at the contenders for Try of the Week. And we focus on Rochdale Hornets as they come back from the brink. And I'm joined by the only Brit to win grand finals in this country and Australia. That's Adrian Morley. Thanks for joining us, Moz. And a man who's about to make his 300th career appearance, Luke Gale. Luke, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, very well. Thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, it's been a few months in between drinks, but happy to be on.
And you're settling into life at Leeds?
I am, yeah. Really enjoying it. Good team. After a bit of a slow start against Hull, which we don't want to talk about, we've found our feet now and a great win at the weekend. So more of the same, I hope.
Well, Leeds is where we're starting on this week's show. It was a decent victory for Leeds on Friday night at home against Warrington.
Leeds came into this game on the back of 2 confidence-boosting wins against Hull KR and Salford. Spirits were even higher when Jack Walker opened the scoring against Warrington. The Rhinos looked to that left edge again before half-time, and they found more joy as Richie Myler went over to score. The points kept coming after the break as Leeds stayed on the front foot, and after a little bit of pinball from Newman's kick, Dwyer was able to add to the tries.
Bouncing up, and it's Dwyer.
By this point, the Rhinos are rampant and none more so than Conrad Hurrell, and when the big man gets going, he's hard to stop. This performance was starting to look like the Leeds of old, and by the time Ash Hanley rounded off the scoring, the question was being asked, are the Rhinos back?
So that was Friday night, and Leeds captain alongside me. First of all, obviously, you don't want to be captain. We want to see Stevie Ward back, don't we? But it must be a real honour to be captain of your hometown club.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, Stevie Ward is suffering with a head knock that he got a couple of weeks ago. So I'm the interim captain, so to speak. And I've gone 3 from 3, so pretty happy with that. And as you saw there, a fantastic Friday night against Warrington. And there's not many times you nil Warrington. I don't think I've ever done that in my career, to be honest. So look, it's been great. After a shaky start, like I mentioned, we've hit the ground running.
You mentioned you won the last 3. So what is the turnaround then?
Look, I think it was disappointing the first game, especially a sellout crowd, the double header, and we just didn't turn up, and we knew that performance wouldn't be good enough. And I think it's probably a switch of mentality. As I mentioned there, keeping Warrington to 0. The attack were great, but the defence is really what won us it. So if we defend like that, we're going to be a tough team to break down.
And what's it like playing with Conrad Hurrell? Is he bonkers?
He's absolutely mad. Yeah, he's a great character. He's almost like a gentle giant. As you can see, he's a massive character in the squad, and look, I reckon every squad has one, a bit of a joker and a bit of a team bloke who gets you laughing, and I think he's definitely has.
Moz, you played for Leeds. I want you to put your Warrington hat on. Right, as a former skipper as well. Warrington not won away from home since July the 6th.
Yeah, well, that's a...
What is it? Is it up here or
Well,
what?
it's obviously a big concern. You've got to win your away games, but I'm sure the Warrington faithful will count the win at Wembley in August as an away victory.
Right, in the Super League.
In the Super League, right,
July
okay.
6th.
Well, it is, a concern. The first 2 rounds of Super League, I thought they were the better side away at Wigan the first game. If Chris Hill didn't get sent off, you could argue they possibly could have won that game.
And then they beat St Helens 19-0.
They schooled St Helens, and it's the old, this will be our year, and I just thought they're the team to beat without a doubt. And then the inconsistency comes into it, and they've had 3 losses since then, and that was quite an embarrassing loss there at Leeds. Take nothing away from Leeds, they were absolutely fantastic Leeds with the ball, But you've got to say we're Warrington poor, and definitely was in defence. They were quite soft really. So it is a concern. But knowing Steve Price, he will certainly be cracking the whip this week, and I expect a bit of a reply from the Wolves.
And news today: Matty Ashton's going to be out for 4 to 5 months with a hamstring injury. That's a real blow because Matt Ashton had started the season so well.
Yeah, and we was quite surprised that he got stood down against Wakefield, but he's a terrific talent. And, you know, when you need all your best players firing and ready to go, and is unfortunate for Warrington, so it doesn't get much easier. But I do expect them to bounce back and to be one of the powerhouses of Super League again.
And talking about young players, Matty Ashton, if you're watching, please get back soon. Hope it goes well for you. Loads of young talent at Leeds at the moment. Harry Newman, Jack Walker.
That's the one thing that when I first went to Leeds, I was surprised at.
You're the old fogey,
I was going to say, yeah, I bring the age average up a bit, but the young lads are fantastic. And that were the first impressions when you go through the door, what how good these young lads are. And I remember doing a gym session the first week I got there with Harry Newman. And I hadn't been with him at gym since because he absolutely... He trains, look, every success he's going to get is training, how he goes about his business on the training field and in the gym is fantastic. And as you mentioned, Jack Walker, Ash Hanley, Mikoletsky, the list goes on.
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith started the season real well, and he's been one I've been really impressed with. So it just rolls off the tongue, and I think if we can dovetail us older blokes with that youthfulness, we'll have a good season. Well,
I actually had a hand at coaching them boys when I was coaching the Leeds Academy. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and get all the accolades. It was down to me, them boys. But no, you could tell that they're a bunch of talented lads, and I'm delighted they're actually making it in first grade now. And
it was an ex-Warrington player who had a cracking game, Richie Myler.
Yes. He's been around a bit, Rich, but great rugby league brain, and ex-Warrington, as you say. But his organisational skills are great. His backing up ability is fantastic, and I'm sure he would have enjoyed turning the screw on his former club.
He had a great performance, didn't he?
He did, yeah. And I spoke with Richie after the game, and it just to credit Richie. Obviously, I come in as a number 7, and Richie didn't get upset or didn't throw his toys out of the pram. He just got it on with his job. He's been playing hooker, been doing a great job at hooker as well, to be honest. There's not many scrum halves that like going to play hooker and get in the middle. And then obviously Jack Walker goes down injured after 10 minutes. He comes on, and like Moz says, he just got a great brain. And look, you don't become a bad player overnight. And he got a lot of stick last year, did Richie. And probably, I don't think it was deserved, in my opinion. And like I say, you don't become a bad player overnight. And his pre-season has been fantastic. And just how he fit in there at full-back, like you say, he knows the game inside out. So I was made up for him after the game, and fantastic performance. And made a few of my passes look good. So.
And it's a long old season. You need everyone, don't you?
You do, yeah. Like I say, you don't want to be picking them injuries up, but Richie's, as I say, played hooker, he's played full-back. He probably could play anywhere, and like you say, you need your full quarter of players. So, no, pleased for him.
Toronto next on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Toronto, because they've not picked up a win, but they're getting better. And as we mentioned earlier, the stats are they're not as bad as it reads.
They pushed Warrington all the way, but then they were probably taught a lesson by St Helens last week.
Yeah, and St Helens put up a real professional performance against them. But I don't think it's going to be easy. They pushed Warrington all the way, and St Helens actually, it took them a while for them to break them down. So look, we're under no illusions. We've got to come with the exact same mindset we did last week, and it won't be easy. And Brian Mack, as he mentioned, there's no panic there yet.
No.
And they're slowly getting better, although the results might not show it.
They're making plenty of meters, and they're also making plenty of breaks. But I think it's the errors what's letting them down, and that'll come. As the weeks crack on, that they'll get rid of the errors, and they'll a win's not too far around the corner, I believe. But they are tough, but I know Salford, that's the only victory Salford had, but again they pushed Salford all the way, so a win's not too far down the road, I don't think.
I just hope it's not Thursday.
So that's Thursday night live on Sky, Leeds versus Toronto. Right, we looked at Leeds' victory over Warrington. Let's have a look at the rest of round 5.
Hull KR went into Thursday's game with just one win under their belts. Despite that, Ben Crooks tops the league's try-scoring charts, and he was on hand again to get things going against Castleford. Paul McShane is another man who started the year on fire. The Tigers' dummy half carved a hole in the Rovers' defence to put Richardson through, and had the presence of mind to find Shenton.
He might take the long way round. He won't. Shenton will.
It was a case of provider turned scorer next, as Richardson found space to open his Castleford account. Now the Tigers had their tails up, and when they moved the ball to the left, James Clare was on hand to put the result beyond all doubt.
Clare for the corner. Clare for the corner.
It was the Super League champions against the new boys on Saturday as Toronto and St Helens met in Warrington. It wasn't hard to guess which was which, however, in the early exchanges, as Johnny Lomax crossed for a brace. James Bentley continued his strong start to life in the first team as he crossed for a try, and by the time Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook went over, Saints had the points firmly in their pocket. The last 100% record in Super League fell as Wigan beat Huddersfield on Sunday, Willie Iser opening the scoring, before Adam O'Brien replied for the Giants. Wigan's backline has looked increasingly threatening this year, and it was on fire again as Liam Marshall went over in the corner. The best was yet to come though from the Wigan winger. With 22 seconds left in the first half, Marshall chased and gathered his own kick to send Wigan well on their way to a 42-10 win. Two of Super League's great entertainers met as Catalans travelled to Hull FC, and the game certainly lived up to its billing. Marhe Fanua opened the scoring with his first try of a brace, but the French side hit straight back, Julien's try being followed up by Fuadiaha. After Fanua had claimed his second try, Carlos Tuvavale scored for the Early Birds, to put the home team into the lead. And when Jamie Shaw raced away to score, it looked like a win for Hull FC was on the cards. Catalans had other ideas. Inspired by a lively Sam Tompkins, the Dragons clawed their way back from 28-10 down. And it was marquee signing James Maloney who finished off the comeback on 78 minutes. Two of Super League strugglers met at the AJ Bell Stadium on Sunday as Salford hosted Wakefield, both teams looking to get just their second win of the season. It would be Wakefield who claimed the 2 points as this try from Tajanoa wrapped up the win. That win puts Wigan at the top of the Betfred Super League table, with Castleford joining them on 8 points.
So Wigan top of the table, along with Castleford as well. Luke, let me just ask Hull first of all. You saw them obviously the first day of the season, that doubleheader at the Emerald. They looked fantastic, and then they lost the last three, Hull.
Yeah, strange one. When after they beat us, I thought they'd be up there with definite title contenders. I thought they'd signed great, and it's just kind of not worked for them these last few weeks. So yeah, I can't see Radford being too happy about that. I think
the inconsistency with Hull's continuing.
Well, that's been their Achilles heel, for want of a better word, for the last few seasons, and it's looking the exact same this year. So yeah, he'd want that consistency back, and like I say, the first game were real hard to handle.
Moz, the Catalans were 28-10 down, and then it turned into a Sam Tompkins show. When he's playing like that, he is fantastic.
Yeah, well, he looks back to his best, doesn't he, Sam? I remember, I think it was 2009, that Tony Smith picked him in the England squad just to go over for a bit of experience to France. He was only 18-year-old, and just getting to know him then, you could tell he was going to be a pretty special player. Then he did. He evolved into a great player. Before he left to go to the NRL, I thought he was the best player in Super League. And then now, it's probably took him a couple of years to get back to that form, but he's an absolute talent and, great guy on and off the pitch. So really, really pleased to see him doing well.
Huddersfield's unbeaten run ends. There were 10-4 up, and then Aidan Caesar got sinbinned. Yeah,
obviously it took a bit of wind out of the sails down to 12 men. They've started the season fantastically well, and probably they've gone under the radar. Aidan Caesar's come in, he's been a great signing, and yeah, Wigan kind of just run away with it, didn't they? The last half an hour, some great tries.
Oh well, Liam Marshall's superb.
It's fantastic, yeah. He's absolute. The pace on Jermaine McGilvray were chasing him back there, and he's not slow by any means. But just knocked the wind out of the sails, and Huddersfield will be disappointed with that.
And George Burgess back for Wigan.
Yeah. I mean, players like that, we're all really excited to see.
He wasn't fit in that first game against Warrington.
No, he didn't look like it. I've been knowing George and watched him play over the last 6 or 7 years in the NRL. He's a world-class player, he really is, and he didn't show that in that first game. He would have been disappointed, but it's great that he's back fit, so we'll get to see what he's all about in Super League, but he's due for a big one, I think.
Cass won your old club. Yeah. They've been behind half-time in the last 3 matches.
Yeah, I seen Powley allude to it after the game, and he won't, believe you and me, he won't be happy about that. He'll make sure that they'll come out fine in the next few games. But yeah, it just shows the talent they've got. They looked real good with the ball second half, and it, almost like they need a bit of a start. They need a bit of almost to get jabbed first before they come out. So yeah, I don't think Powley will be best pleased, but they score some great tries.
A word on Danny Richardson.
He's a great player, and knowing Powley and the coaching staff, they'll get the best out of him. It might not be the finished product, but I guarantee going to Cass and going to the likes of Powley and just the system that they have in place, him and Truman, they look an exciting partnership and a youthful partnership of that. So no, I think he'll have a great season.
One of your old clubs, Salford, beaten at home, only 1 win. Are you worried?
A little bit concerned at the moment. You'd argue Wakefield would be in and around the team Salford should be beating, particularly after the season they had last year. At home as well, you want to win the majority of your home games.
They're in front twice.
Yeah. Well, it is a concern, and one win in 5. It's just not good enough at the minute for the finish they had last year. You'd think they'd take a load of confidence from that. You could argue there's been key players moved on, which that happens at most clubs. But I thought they would have started better than they have. They need to just get a couple more wins on the board, and then they can, reassess.
And St Helens, what a way to bounce back from a World Club Challenge defeat.
Yeah,
32-0.
Yeah, I mean,
professional performance.
Yeah, I mean, even the loss in the World Cup Challenge, I thought they could take a load of positives from that defeat. There was fantastic. They had the chances to win that World Cup Challenge game, and then to bounce back. Yeah, very, very professional. And apart from the blip at Warrington, you've got to say they're the team to beat again.
I know you took positives from the defeat, didn't you? You went out with City Roosters, didn't you?
I did. I went back to the hotel. It was as if I played the game. I was at the hotel, free bar and whatnot. So
it's not like you, Moss.
No.
Luke, St Helens have ever team to beat this year still?
Definitely. I'd said that before the start of the season. Look, there's not many teams at the start of the season that don't bring no one in. That just shows you the kind of how happy they were with the squad, and they started great. As you mentioned, I thought they were great in the World Club Challenge. They've still got a few players missing.
Yeah.
Young lads on the edges, I thought did real well. Costello, they had a couple of lads missing, as did Sydney, to be fair. But yeah, they just weren't clinical in that final third, and I think they'll be disappointed with that. But they definitely had the chances, and as you say, they're the team to beat. And just a performance, like I said, 32-0. Just how professional is that to bounce back from a big week and just get the job done in that manner?
Let's quickly talk about this week's fixtures. We've spoken about Leeds versus Toronto. That's live on Sky on Thursday night. Friday, Wakefield versus Hull. We've spoken about Hull losing the last 3.
Yeah, and Wakefield, they'll go there confident, won't they? Because they had a good win away from home at Salford, and Hull very inconsistent. On the day, first round of this season, they looked potential grand finalists. And then the wheels seem to have fallen off, so you never know quite what you're going to get with Hull. But on the day, they can beat anyone. But I think Wakefield will go there confident.
Also on Friday, Warrington Cass.
Yeah, look, I got a couple of texts actually saying thanks we'll get the backlash of that now. Look, Castleford will want to start better, as we alluded to, and Warrington, I dare say they've had a tough week and a lot of looking at themselves after that performance. So it'll be an interesting game.
St Helens, Huddersfield also on Friday. You'd fancy Saints at home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do. We've just both said they're the team to beat. Huddersfield have had a fantastic start to the year. A bit of a blip at the weekend, but they'll be hoping for a reaction and to bounce back. But I'll still go with Saints, but I think it'll be a close one.
On Saturday as well, it's a Catalans versus Salford. I've spoken to the RFL this afternoon as well. Obviously, everyone's talking about the coronavirus. The RFL have said they're in regular contact with the government. The advice at the moment is business as usual. So Catalans versus Salford. The Catalans will be really buoyed after comeback victory over Hull.
Yeah, and I thought, as we alluded to earlier, Sam Tompkins looks right back to his best. He looks sharp, and yeah, as Moz mentioned, that when he went to Australia, he was probably the best player in the comp, and as I say, looks right back to his best and sharp. And Catalans have got some great players: Israel Folau, Maloney, and Sam. Once that clicks,
Maloney went over for winning try, didn't he? Folau caught it from a kick-off.
Once that clicks, and they're always hard to beat.
Tough place to go, innit?
It is, yeah. Come June time when the sun's shining, they're all on the red wine. The fans, that is. No, they're always.
Well, that's why Catalans fall off.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go, and they're going to get a lot more wins, yeah.
And finally on Sunday, Wigan, Hull, KR. Wigan top of the table. I'd be really impressed defensively as well with.
Yeah. I mean, the first game of the season, they got the win against Warrington. I thought Warrington were the better side, but since then they seem to have kicked on and very consistent. Wigan, and they're not top of the pile for nothing. And Hull KR have been quite poor in recent weeks. So the fact that it's at Wigan and the form book, I'll go for a Wigan victory there.
That's the Betfred Super League. Time now to turn our attention to the Betfred Championship.
Featherstone Rovers were 80 minutes away from Super League last year, and they showed why against unbeaten London. James Harrison opened the scoring in the first half that would see Fev score 16 unanswered points. Josh Hardcastle was amongst the scorers as Rovers continued to dominate in the second half. By the time Eli Pelissier scored this try for London, Featherstone were out of sight. Sheffield travelled to Batley looking for their first win of the year, but they had to do it the hard way. Ryan Miller responded to a penalty try before Brown's score forced the game into golden point. Up stepped Isaac Farrell to score the drop goal that would seal the win for the Eagles. Toulouse travelled to Whitehaven looking to extend their 100% record of the Betfred Championship. And they achieved this with relative ease. Jai Hitchcock scoring a hat-trick on the way to a 40-4 win. York came into their game with Halifax looking for their first league win of the year, but the wait goes on for the Knights. Sean Robinson braced in the first half, and tries from Grix and Woodburn Hall helping a fact out to a 28-4 win. Bradford were another team looking for their first win of the season as they travelled to Oldham. John Keir's side flew out of the blocks to lead 24-0 at the break, going on to win 26-10 at Staley Bridge. Elsewhere, Dewsbury upset Widnes 28-8, and the Swinton game with Lee was postponed due to bad weather. That win sees Toulouse sitting top of the Betfred Championship, with York amongst the early strugglers.
So 3 unbeaten sides in the Championship, Toulouse, Lee and Featherstone. And the pick of the results last week has got to be Featherstone's away win at London.
Yeah, Leeds have a bit of a link there. Our assistant coach, James Webster, is the head coach of their team. And we've got a couple of young lads, Tom Ulroyd and Cal McClellan. Cal McClellan's is a great talent, and on the VT there, he looks like he's playing real well. And you had a bit to do with Tom Ulroyd yourself, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I actually went to his farm. His dad runs a farm. His dad was an ex-pro for Bradford, I think, and we signed him on as a 16-year-old. And but apparently, at his age, he was head and shoulders above every other kid. And if he gets his chance, he's looking forward to seeing what he can do.
He's been a bit unlucky, to be fair, not to. He's had a real good pre-season. He was injured at the start of pre-season, but he's a bit unlucky not to get his chance. I'm sure if we're more performances like that, he'll get his chance. So yeah, good to see Featherstone doing well.
The Reserve League is back, which I think is fantastic. There's a pathway now for these youngsters. But how important is it? You mentioned these two young lads who are Leeds. How important is it they're getting experience and proper competitive rugby in the Championship?
It's vital, especially for Moz will tell you the same. A middle, you need to get obviously in there and do the tough stuff. And for me as an halfback, I did this at Doncaster. I went to Doncaster on a season's loan, and you become a kind of a leader of men instead of the reserves, which is great. But I think with that link that they've got to them clubs, it's fantastic. And you learn how to be, for want of a better word, become a man and really boss a team. And it's a tough league, the Championship. I'm sure Tom Holroyd had had a fair few eye shots and stuff like that. It's a tough comp.
No, it is, and I'm delighted the reserves are back because there was no pathway there, from academy to first team. But I actually had a year under 18s at amateur, and I played first team for Eccles, my amateur side, and it was a great grounding. You're playing against these men, and you do toughen up, and you do become a man overnight. And then when I was at Leeds, it was the academy, and then you'd aspire to get to the A team. Once you're in the A team, get used to the knocks. Then it's not so much of a jump up to first team. Then, so I'm really pleased. The A team's back. I think it's what lads want and need.
I'll just talk about a couple of fixtures. Featherstone entertained Swinton. They've won the last 9 at home against Swinton as well. York entertained London. York beat London in a Challenge Cup 24-22. And on our league app is Bradford versus Sheffield. Well, as part of the show, we like to bring you the stories from inside Rugby League. And this week, we've been to the Rochdale Hornets, who are back from the brink.
Well, the club have been run, like any traditional rugby league club, really, with your standard board of directors. There was different owners through the years. But in 2009, it came to a point where the financial difficulties were such where the club effectively had to fold. And at the time, it was in real danger of there being no more Rochdale Hornets. There was a group of visionary supporters who came together and they'd looked into the supporter-owned model of professional sports clubs. Spoke to an organisation called Supporters Direct about it and basically relaunched the club off their own bats and got the club going again.
Arguably the most important, most successful period of the club's history. 2013 won the playoffs, 2016 the really famous win in Toulouse, where the lads weren't given any chance whatsoever, and to the point where the ribbons weren't even in our colours for the trophy, but the lads went across there to Toulouse and did a great job in 16 and got us promoted to the Championship. So great to have silverware in anyone's tenure, but in the last sort of since 2016-17, it's fair to say that the club was struggling in that Championship under the fans' own model.
That model for a time worked incredibly well, really, and I think it was the envy of some other clubs of a similar size. They looked at what Rochdale Hornets were doing and saw that it can be fan owned and it can work that way and you can have some success.
They had good moments and obviously, unfortunately, the bad moments took over the good moments. I think there was a point where fans got fed up, which you would. You're coming to pay to watch a team that are losing. It's never the best. You did see a drop in fans last season due to the losses, but that's time to change.
It was a conversation in the first instance with the Chief Executive, Steve Kerr. I think we were talking about a player. Just got on to speaking about how things were going at either end and just started a conversation from there, really. And from the outset, it was a case of, do you want to get involved? And it was, no thanks. We're not coming out the frying pan into the fire, but as the conversation developed, it was, it started becoming interesting.
We had a not quite by chance conversation, it was a little bit by design, where I reached out to Andy, having known Andy at Swinton for some time. He thought he was being asked about sponsorship, and pitched him a little bit of an idea around Rochdale, and from that he's come in and he's doing a fantastic job to help settle us down and create a new vision that we can all buy into. So we're really looking forward to the next chapter.
The issue fundamentally that we had with Swinton was that we weren't in Swinton. So the club had been outside of its town for 28 years, carrying the name of a town that it's not in. The fan base wasn't growing, it was sort of ageing, and obviously there's a Super League club within that, operating within that town as well, so it was a difficult one to really get any roots down and engage the community and get people coming from Swinton over to come and watch us playing in a different town. So all the things that I could see that we struggled to have at the previous club were in place already at Rochdale.
I think it probably needed somebody from outside the Rochdale Hornets, such as Andy Maisie and his fellow directors, just to come in and say, hang on a minute, you've got this fantastic facility that you've got that you play within the town, and they've got a working foundation within the town that does terrific work in the community. Women's and wheelchair teams there as well. So a lot of the building blocks were in place there. I think they just kind of got away from each other, and it probably needed somebody who had an experience of rugby league to come in and say, look, you guys have actually got a lot going for you. If you can pull this all together and start going back in the same direction again, this can be a really successful club.
I think the beauty about the board and the philosophy that we've got in place now is that we don't see it as being a boom or bust. We're not sort of coming in for instant gravy and looking for fast results. We understand the importance of really engaging the community, getting out and doing it the right way. So we're not, the coach is not under any pressure to deliver any short-term results. It's about building a young team, engaging young people, starting to slowly grow the fan base and engage the town again. And I think potential-wise, my belief is that within 3 to 5 years we can establish this club as a strong championship club, so we're not just in there to try and stay up every year.
They've recruited some good players in recent weeks especially, and I think there's a real positivity about the club, so if they can hopefully get in the playoffs, have a bit of a go at the playoffs in League One, I think that will be a successful year and build towards hopefully further strides in the future.
We feel that we've put a competitive squad together. Obviously with Martin Ridyard coming on board, it's brought that experience in a pivotal position that we felt we needed. So the goals really from this club's perspective is to get some smiles on people's faces, fans enjoying the experiences again and watching a winning team.
Moving forward, we've absolutely got to tap into a new era, new fans, because it's a great product out there. And that's what's exciting, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. We've got an opportunity to do that because we've got the right skilled people with the right vision. Right now, it's a great time to be here at Rochdale Hornets, and I think it's going to get bigger and better.
The club is rich in history, and hopefully now with these new owners, it can be rich in potential for the future as well.
And good luck to Rochdale, who start their campaign against the Keighley Cougars, and that's live on the Our League app as well. Moz, we obviously talk a lot about the Super League, but we want to see a successful Championship. We want to see a successful League One. We want to see a successful Women's Betfred Super League as well, don't we?
We do, and it was a great piece, and teams like Rochdale and Oldham and Swinton, these are traditional clubs in the heartland of Rugby League, so we want to see these teams thriving. But you mentioned the Women's League, I think Rugby League is more inclusive now than it ever has been. You've got the PDRL, the Wheelchair Rugby League, Women's, the more people we can get playing our great sport at any level, the better ultimately it will be.
We'll be bringing you League One action every week, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to bring you the highlights of Doncaster versus Barrow.
The pick of the action in Betfred League One came at the Keepmoat Stadium as two of the pre-season promotion favourites, Doncaster and Barrow, met. The home side took the lead with Ryan Boyle forcing his way over before Brandon Douglas got a second one for the Dons. Barrow hit back just before half-time, however, as Ryan Duffy scored from close range. Doncaster stretched their lead after the break, however, with Josh Rickett going over. But the Raiders stuck with them and were right back in the game when Duffy got his second try of the match. Shortly after, Barrow took the lead, wore Tovo Powara diving over from the base of the ruck to score. New Wayside were now firmly on top. They went further ahead as Dallymore found space to score. Tarley scored a superb try for the Dons to set up an exciting finish. But Shane Toll went coast to coast to seal the win for Barrow. Hunslet's win against West Wales puts them at the top of the Betfred League One table after one game, with Rochdale still waiting to get their campaign on the way.
And as I mentioned earlier, you can watch that Rochdale game versus Keighley on the Our League app. Very, very early days. Obviously only played one game. But Barrow, big away win. I think they're probably going to be one of the teams to beat this year.
I'll have to agree with you there. And obviously that was an away win, but it's a tough place to go as well. I've played in that league myself, and the Cumbrian trips are always the toughest, and they actually beat my old side there, Doncaster, the Dons. So always look out for the Doncaster, the fixtures and the results. So not the start they wanted.
Right, it's time for one of our regular features. It's Try of the Week.
Hello and welcome to the Our League Meat Pie of the Week. I'm Dave Woods. Let's have a look at this week's contenders. Try one this week, and isn't this a thing of beauty? A try made from pure instinct and pace. Liam Marshall, with seconds left in the half, kicks and backs his pace. Lovely little stoop to gather, and despite the two after him, it's head back and in at the corner. Try two is Emma Templeton of Keighley against the RAF in the Women's Challenge Cup. And a lesson for life. Faced with a brick wall, you can either run at it, or you can look for the door round the side. Exactly what Emma did. Try three, and a crucial try for Dewsbury Rams in their victory over Widnes. High kick knocked down by Andy Gabriel, and Adam Ryder scores in the corner. The Rams happy. This is try four, scored by Jamie Shaw against the Catalan Dragons. Albert Kelly sticks his head through the line, and there's Shaw in support, and our old friend Pace taking him all the way to the corner. Sam Tompkins with a desperate lunge, but he just about gets there. This is try five. Doncaster might have lost to Barrow, but they did score the most eye-catching try. Jason Talley, look at the burst of power here. Watch for the step. There you go, everybody beaten. That's a wonderful score. And finally, try six. Elliot Hall for Workington against Keighley. One of four tries on the day for Elliot. As soon as he caught the ball, there was little point chasing him. He was going to go the distance to score. Could have lit a cigar on his way. Every week we have 2 tickets to give away for this autumn's Ashes series. If you want to be in with a chance of winning those tickets, all you have to do is download the Our League app, vote for your favourite, and we will pick a winner. Get voting, good luck.
Yeah, so you could win 2 tickets to the Ashes series. I think there's only one winner there, isn't it? Liam Marshall, surely. But it's up to you to vote, and there's a good chance if you win those tickets, you could be watching this man, because you've just been called up to a squad gathering by Sean Wayne at Old Trafford on the, when is it, Monday the 23rd of March?
Yeah, obviously immensely proud every time your name's mentioned in the England circle. And I think the toughest part of the last couple of years for me is when you are injured, is not making that England team, obviously through injury. So yeah, delighted. Look, is a long season. I've got to play some good footy to get into that that team, but just a passion I think Sean Wayne speaks about. Obviously the Aussies, this man's beat the Aussies a fair few times, so no, massive, obviously honoured to make that team, but yeah, still a lot of hard work to do.
I think it's still the ultimate in rugby league, playing
You've always said that.
An Ashes series, 3 games, best out of 3 against the Aussies.
Especially if you stay on the pitch.
Well, if you stay on the pitch, that's always a bonus, isn't it? But yeah, I'm delighted the Kangaroos are coming over. It creates so much interest in our sport, but for me, that's the ultimate.
And I know you just want to get on with life at Leeds at the moment, no? But to be called up is obviously fantastic. And look, everyone's going to have one eye on that World Cup next year as well.
Yeah, I think I got asked this, probably the most common question I got answered on my return is, look, you still have England ambitions, and I just take it a week at a time, as I said. And if you're playing good footy, that comes at the end of the year. So yeah, I'm happy with where I am, and now I've come back. But I know I've got a lot of stuff to improve on, and there's plenty of improvement in me. But yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say there's definitely one eye on that Ashes at the end of the year.
I didn't realise it was National Pie Week, by the way. Your favourite pie, Moz?
Cheese and onion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you surprised me. A bit shocked.
Exactly.
I'm steak and ale, I think, with a few pints as well, of course. You, as an athlete, you won't eat pies, will you?
I don't eat pies, as you can say, but no, chicken and mushroom, Chicken and mushroom, yeah. In fact, the pies are great at the football grounds. Went to Ellen Road just before Christmas, and yeah, I got chicken and mushroom pie. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Well, you've surprised me there. Cheese and onion, there we are. An exclusive on the last tackle. Mozzie's favourite pie is cheese and onion. I'll tell you what, while we're having a bit of a laugh as well, one of the best things I've seen this week is Mossy Masoi sat up in a wheelchair. Watch this.
G'day guys, just a quick update on my recovery. It's been 6 weeks now in Pitterfields, and I finally got up yesterday, so it's such an exciting time for me and my family. Had a couple of the boys here watching me, and I'm hoping I fainted for the first time, which is quite common, but I managed not to, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone for all their support. Since I got my injury, from people doing fundraisers and people sending letters, people coming in and visiting me. Me and my family really appreciate it. Also want to thank the staff here. They've been awesome, and really looking forward to the game tonight, and I'm looking forward to watching the game setting up. So that's a big plus for myself. So good luck to the boys tonight.
I know it's great news to see Mossy Masoi sat up in the wheelchair. Sky Live Games, we do a man of the match. We've doubled it this year to £500, and £250 is going to Mossy Masoi, and £250 is going to Rob Barrow as well. First of all, it's great to see him sat up, because 6 weeks ago he was flat in the bed and no one knew what was going to happen. Yeah,
well, Tony Smith said if he walks again, it will be a bonus, and you knew right there and then it was very, very serious injury. Delighted to see the videotape, and hopefully his progression keeps improving. But it was great to see him set up and in good spirits. I know the rugby league community's got behind him, and if we can see him, ultimately, get out and about, that will be fantastic.
What has shown with Rob Barrow and Mossy Masoi, the rugby league family getting together. I mean, that I know you couldn't play, unfortunately. You'd taken a knock. That Rob Barrow fundraising game and the Jamie Jones Buchanan testimonial, I mean, that is one of the most emotional things I watched on Sky.
It was unbelievable, and like you mentioned, just how good of a sport we're involved in when everyone gets behind it and everyone pushes. And as you mentioned, that night, I'd picked up a bit of a strain in my hip flexor, but disappointed really, because one of them I think in 10 years time, you say I was at that game, and they want a dry eye in the house. So no, fantastic, and it makes you proud to be a part of this great sport that we're in.
And Rob Barrow's just getting on with it, isn't he?
He is. I still see him at training. He still comes for his team feed once a week with us, and he's still coaching the academy. It's fantastic, and he's just an absolute warrior. He was a warrior on the pitch, and he's a warrior off it as well.
Before we finish, Luke, obviously you started your career at Leeds. You had to leave because of Rob Burrow and Danny Maguire, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've come back home? You look like you've settled into it.
I do, and I think that was I started there. I got offered a scholarship at 12 years old. Obviously, you mentioned Danny and Rob in front of me. As time transpires, I think I had a pretty impossible task trying to get them out of their position. But yeah, I'm back, and look, we've started the season well, and it feels like home. Probably a bit further than, I'm a Leeds lad. It's probably easier to get to Castleford than it is to Leeds. I'm the wrong side of Leeds, but look, it's my hometown club. It's my boyhood club I've supported since being probably 6 years old. So fantastic to be back, and hopefully we can have a good season.
And you know what it means. You finished your career with your boyhood club in Salford, didn't you?
Yeah, and it means a great deal. You know, having supported the club for so long and being born in the city, I thought my career would be a bit incomplete without playing for Salford, and delighted I got to do that. And I'm sure Gale feels the same. It's a special, proud moment every week. You know, when you're wearing the training gear and you're wearing the jersey to represent your people and your town, your city.
Gents, really enjoyed your company. Thanks for coming in. So you've been watching the Last Tackle, Betfred's Rugby League show. It's available every Tuesday night throughout this season. If you are going to have a bet on Rugby League over the weekend, please only ever gamble what you can afford to lose. We've got a very special show next week because it's Cheltenham next week as well. So we're very busy. So we've got a special show coming from Wigan next week. So I shall see you soon.
He can, he can! Toronto are heading for Super League!
2019 Betfred winning Super League champions.